Welcome to another episode of Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement. I'm here at the News Forum where all voices matter. Canada's cities are key players in the need for innovation, including attracting and retaining foreign talent to create new businesses and new jobs. With Canada continuing to be a magnet for innovators, let's talk to two people who've been at the forefront of new approaches. Patrick Brown is joining us. He is the mayor of Canada's 9th largest city, Brampton, Ontario. And Vikram Khurana is the chair of the Toronto Business Development Centre and also the Beehive Innovation Hub in Brampton. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us on, Tony.
Patrick, let me start with you. Can you maybe describe, as a big city mayor, maybe describe some of the challenges to attract and retain talent that you've seen as mayor of Brampton?
Well, it's a global economy, and there's a competition for jobs and investment, and trying to create those niche sectors for the jobs of tomorrow. That's the challenge. It's about getting the right talent, scaling, helping scale up companies. Imagine you're trying to sell beta machines or pagers today. There wouldn't be a market for it, and so really, I think it's critical for big cities to adapt to the jobs of tomorrow. And that's what we're trying to do in Brampton. We're really trying to tailor the growth in our innovation corridor towards those jobs and making sure that we've got the right ecosystem set up to support it, whether it's post-secondary institutions or whether it's supports for businesses to grow to the point they can invest and hire.
So maybe let our audience know a little bit about how Beehive fits into that, Patrick.
Well, believe it or not, I was actually in India on a foreign direct investment mission with Vikram Khurana, and we were at T-Hub in Hyderabad, which was just taking off, flourishing in India in terms of attracting startups from around the world. And the time we talked, the government of Canada had set up a startup visa program where you could bring companies, tech companies into the country on an expedited basis as long as they're going to invest and hire in Canada. And it's been largely successful in Toronto, but it hasn't really been attempted elsewhere. And I thought Brampton would be a prime location for that. So the genesis of this was T-Hub in Hyderabad, India, but Beehive is meant to create that same type of ecosystem where we welcome companies from around the world that want to invest, grow, and hire in Canada. And it's already been, largely successful, even with COVID. Right now, a lot of the immigration is on hold in Canada because of COVID-19 changes to the immigration system. We already have 16 companies approved, literally ready to invest millions into our local economy. So it's exciting, and we're grateful that we got this great partnership with TBDC.
Yes, Vikram, I wanted you maybe to look at it from a 30,000-foot vantage point as well and talk about this startup visa program, which is essential for the Toronto Business Development Centre and for Beehive.
The genesis of the program lies in a pilot project that was instituted in 2013 and aimed to bring startups from Silicon Valley to Canada. The objective was simple: to get the next Facebook, the next Google, the next Tesla to start in Canada. And as a way of coming here to expedite the permanent residence of the entrepreneur or the co-founders of the entrepreneurial company. The program has been a huge success. And due to that, there has been a fair amount of activity within the foreign-born entrepreneurial community to come to Canada under this program and set up their entrepreneurial and innovative businesses in Canada.
Yeah, so that's the idea, isn't it, Vikram? That you have a great startup idea. You may be in India, you may be in Africa, you may be in the Far East, but if you want to start up in Canada, this is a great vantage point to do so.
Correct. The tests are very simple. The business has to be innovative. It has to create jobs in Canada. And if possible, exports using the many trade deals that the country has with other partners around the world.
We're going to continue our discussion with Vikram Khurana and with Mayor Patrick Brown after the break, talking about all things innovation, as well as attracting foreign-born innovators into this country. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here at the News Forum. We're here with Patrick Brown. He is the mayor of Brampton, Ontario, as well as Vikram Khurana, the chair of the Toronto Business Development Centre. Patrick, start with you. Maybe just describe a little bit about how you're selling Brampton and by extension Canada. What are some of the advantages that Brampton and Canada have to attract this kind of foreign-born talent?
I think for many around the world, it's a dream to come to Canada. It's known as a country that's got a great social infrastructure. It's embraces the market, free enterprise, and I think we're viewed as a beacon for freedom for many. And so, if there is an expedited pathway to citizenship for those that want to sweat, toil, and work hard to create success, that's. There's tons of interest, and frankly, it is the Canadian dream. Tony, you had a distinguished career in public service in Brampton, and I think it would have given you an appreciation for part of Brampton's success. Brampton is a mosaic of the world, and part of our city's real momentum is the fact we have so many people who came to Canada with nothing but the shirt on their back, and they have created companies, they have created prosperity, they have built a legacy for their family and their community. And there's countless examples like that. And so, I think an operation like Beehive the goal is to make Canada a magnet for talent, a magnet for those that want to work hard, succeed, and build. And it's exciting because I hear presentations from different companies, and they're all about how can we create a distortion in the economy with a new idea that can be more efficient and effective. And there are going to be some Fortune 500 companies that are going to be built. And the question is, where are they going to be built? Which country is going to be a magnet for that talent? And I think you had the additional window into this as an industry minister, where it really is a fierce competition internationally to say, where are you going to locate? And I really think there's an opportunity here for Canada, and the startup visa program is a pathway for that. Toronto has really taken advantage of that and created a very successful, vibrant tech sector. The fact that we've got Collision, which is one of the largest tech conferences internationally that happens in Toronto each year, speaks to the fact there is something special happening in the GTA with tech companies. And we're really trying to build on that in Brampton, sort of to be the connecting bridge between the tech sector in Kitchener-Waterloo and the one in downtown Toronto.
Yeah, thank you for that, Patrick. And Vikram, Patrick makes a really good point that there's this worldwide competition for talent. So from your perspective, what are the advantages that can attract that talent here in Toronto, Brampton, Canada?
So if you look at the immigration system of the country, obviously we address shortages of blue-collar workers, of hard laborers, and unskilled workers. We also make a great effort in getting high-tech workers. And it's no different for entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are economic drivers. They drive activity, they drive fringe benefits, and they impact the communities they live in. So it was only natural that Canada be the first country in the world to come up with the startup visa program. And it's been mimicked since by different countries, but none of them is as robust as the one from Canada.
I'd love to get some real-life examples from you, Vikram. Maybe on a no-names basis. I want to respect if there's any privacy issues, but tell us, the kinds of companies that have been attracted by this program.
So, Tony, we have a number of companies that have patents. We normally look for companies that have already got a business activity going on in their country of origin. And it's usually based on an innovation or a disruption. Sometimes patents are counterproductive to businesses because they take time and it takes energy to defend them, but they may be disruptive. And not necessarily all businesses are very flared. And a good example of that would be a new type of a nut that goes on a truck tire and prevents it from flying off. Obviously, that's not something that you would read about in CNBC, but you would also, it's a everyday use, and it prevents accidents and saves lives. We also have another company that has 8 patents on uses of algae to remove single-use plastics from our food processing businesses and food consumption. This company makes films.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you. We're back here at Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, talking about innovation and foreign-born innovators here with Mayor Patrick Brown of Brampton, Ontario, as well as Vikram Khurana. He's the chair of the Toronto Business Development Centre and also the Beehive Innovation Hub in Brampton. Vikram, I had to cut you off there. I apologize, but you were making a point about this company that has 8 patents and is making a real difference. So please continue with that.
Thank you. So this firm makes a film made out of algae that replaces the little sachets that are used to serve condiments in restaurants. And if you can imagine how much plastic that is, you can see what the real life impact is. The same company, one of the patents of the algae is to add nutrition to animal food. And due to that, it results in better nutrition for farm animals, and also results in higher milk yield and better protein in dairy cows. So these are the type of companies that are bringing their patents, their innovations to Canada, and under the leadership of the Brampton City Council and Mayor Patrick Brown, we are incubating them, giving them all the ingredients that they need to succeed.
I think that's an excellent example and shows the kind of the nexus between what the city of Brampton is doing in this case and what these entrepreneurs can do. Mayor Brown, I'm going to sort of flip it on its head, though, for my next question. What do you see as the impediments to getting these startups here and going? Maybe it might be a provincial government impediment, or it might be a federal government impediment, or it might be something else entirely. What do you need to succeed that has to be yet in place?
So I think every company has the capacity to succeed in Canada. I think there are some ongoing challenges as you scale up. And so I think we could be really good at incubating those companies, but the challenge is when you scale up. And so I think there's still some work to be done to be competitive, because once you've built a successful company, you're going to look at the cost of doing business in Canada. And there are some additional costs. Every day I'm speaking to companies about the regulatory burden in Canada, hydro costs, taxation levels. It's one of the reasons we are really trying in a determined way to create as much of an advantage in Brampton as we can. We're the only big city in Canada, Tony, that has frozen property taxes 3 years in a row. And we want to go further. We want to make sure that there is an environment that creates an advantage for a company wanting to locate in our community. But I worry, I'm on the phone and I'll hear people tell me about a lower cost of doing business in Michigan or elsewhere. And so, I think we always have to keep our eye to that. I think sometimes in all the debates and in Parliament, sometimes what's lost upon it is what is our competitive advantage with other jurisdictions. And if it borders me less today when it comes to the movement of businesses, what are we doing to create that Canadian advantage?
Vikram, do you agree with Patrick? Is there some more work to be done there?
Yes, and of course, one of the greatest needs of the hour is for the immigration system to be back up and running. And obviously, there is a fair amount of backlog built in of applicants under the Start a Visa program, where people are wanting to come and start their businesses. And serious businesses don't wait for very long periods of time before they choose another destination. So in order to remain competitive, the biggest need of the hour from my perspective is that the immigration department come back online and start issuing visas and permanent residence.
Yeah, so just to be clear on that, Vikram, right now, I guess our entire immigration system is a little bit backed up because of COVID. Is that right? It's not just the startup visa immigrants; it's the whole system, or what's going on there?
Yes, so it's the whole system, and obviously officers who were posted in the field, and of course working from home has its challenges when you're dealing with confidential information. So there are challenges in the government still continuing to work and function as normal under pandemic conditions. And obviously, as those are easing up, we fully expect that the government of Canada will be back up to its normal pre-pandemic levels in issuing visas and permanent residence to applicants.
I think that's a good point. It's almost like the supply chain issue as things get rolling again. We're finding that systems that were kind of creaky in the past are not robust enough for kickstarting again. Hopefully the federal government solves that soon. We're going to be back with one more segment with our guests after this short commercial break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Boom and Bust. I'm your host, Tony Clement, here talking about cities and innovation, startup visa program, foreign-born innovators. Here with Mayor Patrick Brown. He is the mayor of Canada's 9th largest city, Brampton, Ontario, as well as Vikram Khurana, who works with Patrick on something called the Beehive Innovation Hub in Brampton, and also chair of the Toronto Business Development Center. Patrick, love to get, you kind of alluded to this earlier, but you talked a little bit about post-secondary education, but love to, obviously Beehive is a subset of broader plans that you have and are in the works for making sure that Brampton is a truly worldwide innovation center. Maybe take our viewers a little bit through your plans for Brampton.
So we're trying to work with all our post-secondary education partners to really create not only academic opportunities for young people in our city, but have career paths that lead to employment and have economic development intertwined into that academic investment. So let me give you a few examples. We've got Ryerson with their cybersecure accelerator, where we're training individuals to be experts in the field of cybersecurity. And like it or not, that's a growth sector. There's not less cybersecurity threats, there's more. We have 800 plus jobs interrelated with that cybersecurity training. And I would note, you may not think of Brampton when you think of cybersecurity, but they now host the Canada-US Cybersecurity Conference at Lionhead in our community. The government of Canada made that endowment to our cybersecurity center, really putting a niche focus on our community for cybersecurity. So that's sort of one niche area. We've got Algoma, which has created a campus in our downtown that is focusing on the aviation industry, along with the School of Business. Sheridan College already does a lot in automation. They've got some specialty courses now in 3D printing. And now the provincial government announced a med school is coming to Brampton. And I have to say, the last time they created a med school in Ontario, who was the Minister of Health? You had probably brown hair at that point. But it was
probably, yeah.
Created the Ministry of the first med school in Northern Ontario. That's but right. As you know, it's very rare when a med school is given the green light. So we're really excited about that. And we already have medical technology companies talking about wanting to co-locate in the same area that Ryerson will select for the med school. And so there's going to be tech spin-off from the med school. So as you can see, with all these academic investments that are happening right now, there's going to be a real synergy with the employment opportunities and economic development for the city. And so, I really believe that the right academic investments can be an incredible catalyst for a community.
I think that's a great synopsis of what's going on, Patrick. Vikram, we've got just over a minute left. Maybe take us through any future plans for Toronto Business Development Center.
So our objective is to make the Brampton community and the innovation community very proud of Beehive. That's the reason why we exist. And we are going to do that with bringing as many foreign-born entrepreneurs that have innovative and disruptive business plans to the ecosystem in Brampton. And obviously, the fringe benefits to the economy are huge. The number of jobs to be created, the last time I looked at stats, it's an average of 5 jobs created per startup. And also the inbound investment into our community. When people come here, they buy homes, they buy white goods, they buy a whole bunch of other things, in addition to making business investments. So that's what we'd like to do, and make a very large volume of such people so that there's a thriving ecosystem in Brampton.
That's an excellent initiative. I want to congratulate and thank both you gentlemen for being a part of it and sharing it with our wider audience across the country. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Really interesting initiative there in Brampton with Mayor Patrick Brown and Vikram Khurana, getting foreign-born entrepreneurs, attracting them to the city, to the community, create jobs, create opportunity, create new businesses in this business climate rather than somewhere else in the world, as we're all fighting for this great talent that exists throughout the entire world. So I want to congratulate our visitors today. They're doing a good job. Thanks for watching.